Hello, and welcome to Air Crash Chronicles, the channel that explores the mysteries behind some of the biggest air disasters in history.
The haunting tragedy of the MD-11 crash near Halifax seizes the heart with its sorrowful magnitude. On that ill-fated Wednesday, September 2nd, 1998, off the unforgiving shores of Canada, the McDonnell Douglas MD-11, bearing the Swissair livery, embarked on its intercontinental journey. With flight SWR 111 destined for Geneva, the New York-Geneva route was meant to be a shared venture with Delta Airlines. However, a mere 55 minutes into the flight, a malevolent fire emerged, unfurling its wrath near the sacred cockpit. The valiant pilots, driven by their innate heroism, valiantly steered the aircraft towards the closest sanctuary of an airport. Alas, the raging flames victoriously dismantled every trace of control within the aircraft, forcing it on a path of doom. Inevitably, it plummeted into the desolate abyss of St. Margaret Gepps Bay, a merciless 56 kilometers southwest of Halifax Airport. Utter devastation cloaked the wreckage as the souls of all 229 individuals on board, 215 passengers and 14 crew members alike, were tragically claimed by the clutches of fate. The ramifications of Flight 111's catastrophic descent reverberated throughout the annals of Swiss aviation and the history of McDonnell Douglas MD-11 flights, forever marking it as the greatest calamity to befall these realms. Furthermore, in the chronicles of Canadian history, it stood solemnly as the second deadliest air disaster in terms of lives lost, relinquishing that harrowing title only to the heart-wrenching DC-8 crash in Gander, which snuffed out the lives of 256 souls. The MD-11 aircraft itself, registered under the code HBIWF, emerged from the manufacturing womb in 1991, taking its inaugural flight on June 1st of the same year. It was embraced by Swissair on August 5th and christened as VAUD. Powered by the might of three Pratt & Whitney PW 4462 twin turbofan engines, this aviation vessel had accumulated a lifespan of 7 years by the time of its final descent. With over 6,400 takeoff landing cycles and 36,041 hours of soaring through the azure heavens, it was a vessel that had gallantly ventured the skies time and time again. The brave souls guiding this ill-fated flight were composed of a highly experienced crew who possessed the dedication and skill to navigate the skies. Urs Zimmermann, the aircraft commander, at the age of 49, had dedicated an awe-inspiring 27 years and 1 month of his life to the illustrious Swissair. Throughout his esteemed career, he had deftly mastered the Douglas DC-8, McDonnell Douglas DC-9, McDonnell Douglas MD-80, and the Airbus A320. Since June 1997, he had commanded the McDonnell Douglas MD-11, accumulating over 10,800 hours of flight experience, with 900 hours among them belonging to the MD-11. Assisting him in his noble endeavor was co-pilot Stefan Lowe, a valiant 36-year-old aviator who had spent 7 years with Swissair since 1991. His flight path had adorned the skies of the McDonnell Douglas MD-80 and the Airbus A320. In May 1998, he embraced the role of a co-pilot on the MD-11, accumulating over 4,800 hours of flight time, 230 of which were dedicated to the MD-11. At the time of the accident, both pilots were in impeccable condition, having enjoyed a well-deserved rest period of 27 hours before embarking on this ill-fated voyage. The cabin harbored a troop of 11 flight attendants, each devoted to serving and nurturing the souls entrusted to their care. Their names are etched in the annals of this tragedy, forever woven into the tapestry of grief and loss. Patricia Eberhardt, Anne-Elizabeth Castiglione-Emery, Irene Betrizi, Colette Furter, Serena Pazzeller, Raphael Berkey, Janine Pompili, Regula Reutemann, Peter Schwab, Bridget Viprachtiger, Florence Zuber. The MD-11 crash near Halifax plunged the world into sorrow on that tragic Wednesday, September 2nd, 1998. The Swissair airliner, carrying the hopes and dreams of 229 souls on board, including 215 passengers and 14 dedicated crew members, met an unforgiving fate off the coast of Canada. As the ill-fated flight SWR 111 commenced its intercontinental journey, little did they know that their destinies would collide with darkness. Merely 55 minutes after takeoff, despair reared its ugly head as fire consumed the confines of the aircraft, its menacing flames igniting near the cockpit. With valiant efforts, the courageous pilots desperately steered the aircraft towards the nearest sanctuary, hoping for a glimmer of salvation. But alas, the flames devoured their control systems, leaving them helpless. The vessel succumbed to its fiery demise, violently crashing into the unforgiving embrace of St. Margaret Gepps Bay, a harrowing 56 kilometers southwest of Halifax Airport. The loss experienced during the crash of Flight 111 reverberated through the annals of Swiss aviation history. It was the most devastating catastrophe to befall Swissair and the McDonnell Douglas MD-11 fleet, haunting their legacy forever. In the somber tapestry of Canadian history, it stands as the second largest accident in terms of fatalities, with only the haunting memory of the DC-8 crash in Gander surpassing its heart-wrenching toll, extinguishing 256 lives. The MD-11 aircraft itself, registered as HBIWF, came into existence in 1991, stepping onto the stage of the skies with its maiden flight on June 1st. Entrusted to Swissair on August 5th of that same year, it bore the name VAUD and boasted the power of 3 Pratt & Whitney PW4462 twin-turbofan engines. By the time fate intervened, the aircraft had accumulated an impressive history, with over 6,400 arduous takeoff-landing cycles and the passage of 36,041 hours soaring through the heavens. The dedicated crew, the Guardians of the Skies, possessed an abundance of experience and unwavering dedication. Leading the charge was Urs Zimmermann, the aircraft commander, a veteran pilot who had dedicated 27 years and 1 month of his life to Swissair since that fateful July of 1971. With countless hours spent piloting the Douglas DC-8, McDonnell Douglas DC-9, McDonnell Douglas MD-80, and Airbus A320, Zimmermann took the helm as the esteemed commander of the MD-11 in June 1997. His wings carried him through over 10,800 hours of flight, including more than 900 on the MD-11. By his side stood co-pilot Stéphane Lowe, a seasoned aviator who had graced the skies under the Swissair banner for 7 years since 1991. With expertise in maneuvering the McDonnell Douglas MD-80 and Airbus A320, Lowe assumed the role of co-pilot for the MD-11 in May 1998. His flight log bore witness to over 4,800 hours of journey, over 230 of which were etched into the fibers of the MD-11's existence. Together, they formed the guiding force, their minds and bodies rested and ready for flight, having enjoyed a well-deserved respite of 27 hours prior to that fateful day. Tragically, Flight 111 also carried a team of dedicated flight attendants, 11 souls entrusted with the safety and comfort of the passengers. Each name etched in the tapestry of the fallen: Patricia Eberhardt, Anne-Elizabeth Castiglione-Emery, Irene Batrizzi, Colette Ferder, Serena Pazeler, Raphael Berkey, Janine Pompili, Regula Reutemann, Peter Schwab, Brigitte Wieprachtiger, and Florence Zuber. Amongst them, an aircraft mechanic named René Oberhansley, further testament to the dedication that coursed through the veins of the crew. Tragedy struck on that fateful Wednesday, September 2nd, 1998, when the skies turned treacherous near Halifax. The ill-fated McDonnell Douglas MD-11 aircraft, operated by Swissair, embarked on its intercontinental journey, carrying the hopes and dreams of 229 souls. A mere 55 minutes after takeoff, an infernal blaze erupted within the metal confines, engulfing the cockpit in a veil of smoke and despair. Desperate to save their lives, the pilots valiantly steered towards the nearest haven, but in vain. The fire ravaged the aircraft, mercilessly snuffing out any flicker of hope, and it crashed into the unforgiving embrace of St. Margaret Gepps Bay, forever sealing the fate of all those on board. In the aftermath, grief swept across nations as the magnitude of the loss became apparent. The crash of Flight 111 etched its name in the annals of Swiss aviation history as the deadliest catastrophe, shattering not only the spirits of the bereaved families, but also the very foundation of Swissair. The memory of the McDonnell Douglas MD-11 flights would forever be tainted by this heart-rending incident, standing as a stark reminder of the fragility of human life. Amidst the shattered wreckage, fragments of lives torn apart, the story of the ill-fated crew and passengers emerged. A seasoned aircraft commander, Urs Zimmermann, clad in experience and dedication, along with co-pilot Stéphane Lowe, stood at the helm, their hearts brimming with passion for the skies. The flight attendants, their names etched in sorrow, offered their service with unwavering dedication. René Oberhansley, the aircraft mechanic, joined this fateful journey, unaware of the tragic fate that awaited them all. Among the passengers, the names of those who walked away from the flight at the last possible moment seemed both miraculous and haunting. Marc Rosé, the tennis player who escaped the clutches of destiny, his decision to abstain fueled by a chain of fortuitous events. Jacques Hermignaud, the director, detoured from the flight's path, setting himself on a different course. Dinu Pescariu, a Romanian participant crippled by his fear of flying, stood grounded, saving him from the harrowing ordeal. And Richard Tomlinson, the former MI6 employee, felt the sickening twist of fate as circumstances conspired to keep him from boarding. The conspiracy whispered of sinister intentions, forever casting a shadow over this ill-fated flight. In the aftermath, grief intermingled with the pursuit of justice. The aftermath of the crash led to stringent regulations banning the use of metallized mylar in aircraft construction, an attempt to prevent such tragedies from repeating. Swissair, forever changed, renumbered the flight as a tribute to the fallen. Yet the scars of bankruptcy and dissolution haunted the once proud airline. Lawsuits emerged, seeking justice and compensation, as broken hearts sought solace in seeking accountability. But amidst the wreckage lay irreplaceable losses. The invaluable Picasso painting, The Artist, lost forever, swallowed by the unforgiving depths of the bay. Precious jewelry that adorned souls on their journey vanished, leaving a void that could never be filled. And whispers of treasure hunters persist, desecrating the sanctity of memories, while grieving families cling desperately to the remains of their loved ones' legacies. The crash of Flight 111 stands as a chilling testament to the fragility of life, forever etching its tragic tale into the annals of history, as hearts continue to ache and souls yearn for solace amidst the unfathomable sorrow.